This radio program is PG-13. Parents strongly caution some material may be inappropriate for children under the age of 13.
The following program is sponsored by Michael W. Smith. The views expressed on the following program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership.
Phoenix, Arizona, yes. Brother Mike back on the radio. Welcome to HardcoreChristianity.com. Thanks for tuning into the program. Welcome to the Bible study today. Robert Morris. OMG. Wow. What is happening in this country and what's happening in the church? Well, I'm going to tell you. I'll explain it to you in detail today. You'll hear it from the horse's mouth. It's announcement time. Welcome to the program. I'm Brother Mike, a professional counselor at the Arizona Deliverance Center. Been a counselor for over 21 years. I've been on the radio for over 21 years. Been a counselor for over 40 years. The website has all of our ministry services. We have 2 live services every week at 7 p.m. We have a Monday night Zoom service for the ladies at 6:30, a Wednesday night Zoom service for everybody. We have children's deliverance services. We have women's services. We have a counseling center. If you are a born-again Christian and you need to see a counselor and you have no money, you can get free counseling services at the Arizona Deliverance Center, 602-636-5800. Please remember my Sunday morning podcast on twitch.tv. Send me an email, mike@hardcorechristianity.com, if you have a prayer request. If you have questions or suggestions, if you need information about the ministry or our services, mike@hardcorechristianity.com. Robert Morris. I've been teaching and preaching for literally decades, explaining to people that deliverance needs to be restored to the church. Because deliverance has been thrown out of the churches, sex scandals are constantly popping up all over the country, particularly now that our society has been enormously sexualized by Satan's most powerful weapon, Pornhub. Everybody is on porn. Everybody struggles with porn. Ministers, you wouldn't believe the number of ministers that are on porn. You would be absolutely jaw-droppingly shocked if you knew what was really going on out there. You would be utterly amazed. Even elderly ministers are on porn. Well, it happened again. This one is a super big shocker, bigger than most of them that I outline on the radio program. I outline these cases to show you the devastation caused by removing deliverance from the church. People pick up demons before they're saved. They get saved and born again. They get filled with the Spirit. They go to seminary or Bible college, and they go into ministry. But unfortunately, they engage in something that I call Passover. They pass their demons from their sinful life into their Christian life. They don't know they have the demons. Christians can't be possessed by demons, but they can be infected in body or brain, causing a mental or physical illness. Robert Morris is infected with lust demons, and here we go again, as Reagan said to Mondale. The Board of Elders of the Gateway Church in South Lake, Texas. Again, this is a mega church. I mean, huge. Robert Morris got accused of sexually molesting a 12-year-old girl multiple times in the 1980s. Okay, the scandal came out about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and he's resigned as the pastor and the TV preacher of this church, Gateway Church in Texas. And he turned in his resignation on June 18th. The board of Gateway Church launched an investigation and hired a law firm to do an investigation, because this girl claims, she's a grandmother now, that from 1982 to 1987, Robert Morris sexually abused her. The woman's name is Cindy Clemishire. She's 54 now, and she's a grandmother. She said that he first sexually abused her on Christmas Day of 1982, and for 4.5 years, did it nonstop. Morris had told the board about it. He said that, well, this is what he told him. Here's the exact quote. Quote, "When I was in my early 20s, I was involved in inappropriate sexual behavior with a young lady in a home where I was staying. It was kissing and petting and not intercourse. But it was wrong. This behavior happened on several occasions over the next few years." He was married at the time. Well, now the church board has gotten additional evidence that has come up that Morris never told them. Morris said that the incident had come to light in March of 87. He repented it. He confessed it and repented of it. He submitted himself to the elders of Shady Grove Church, where he was ministering, and apologized to the family. He stepped out of ministry, he received counseling, he found freedom, and he returned to the ministry. Well, come to find out, Morris never told them the complete story. The story was obviously much worse than he made it out to be. And what was he doing? Acting like a human being. They were trying to minimize what he did. All humans do it practically. Come to find out, she was 12 years old, and it went on for 4.5 years, including intercourse. And he was married during the whole time. And because the elders did not have all the facts about what happened, according to the elders of the church, Morris told them that he was involved with a, quote, young lady, and never told them that the child was 12 when it started. So he would have been sexually abusing her when she was 12, 13, 14, 15, and into year 16 before it stopped. Nobody knew any of the details of it other than it was just a young lady. What's going on here? Morris has lust demons, like all these other pastors who collapse and fail. All these people have lust demons. Okay? There's a reason that Paul went over the requirements for a bishop to the man of God, Timothy. He went over it in detail. A bishop, an episcopus, has to be blameless. The husband of one wife. He has to have a good reputation. Paul went through the requirements of a bishop, and I mean, it's extensive. What was Paul saying? These people have to be blameless to go into the ministry. Well, you can't be blameless if you never went through deliverance, because deliverance is the main issue. There's no way that Morris, as a married pastor, could have done this to a 12-year-old girl if he didn't have demons. It's not possible. It's not possible. That's why Paul said a bishop, which is the Greek word episkopos, they must be blameless. They must have one wife. They must be vigilant and sober. They must have good behavior. They must be hospitable. They must not drink. They must not be given to wine, meaning somebody who doesn't drink. They can't be someone who's argumentative. They can't be a greedy person. They can't be a person who likes to have their own way. They can't be covetous. They must be someone who rules their own house, having their children in subjection with all gravity. Can you believe that? Well, you can, because it says it right there. 1 Timothy chapter 3. If you can't rule your own house, how are you going to rule the house of God? That's what Paul said. And then in verse 6, he drops the hammer. They must not be a novice, lest being lifted up with pride, they fall into the judgment of Satan. They must have a good report of those who are outside the church, lest they fall into the reproach and the snare of Satan. My gosh, friend, that's exactly what's happened to Morris. That's exactly what happens to all of these TV preachers and these mega church pastors who have these skeletons in their closet. They must have a good report of those who are outside the church. Well, he didn't have it. This woman came forward and told everybody about what he had done to her when she was 12 years old. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. He didn't have a good report. The church didn't know that because he did not give them all the details of what happened. He just said it was a young lady, implying that he had had an affair on his wife without giving them any details of the affair. But just like Paul said here, he fell into the reproach and the snare of the devil. The Greek word for reproach is anidismos. It means verbal abuse and verbal castigation. And that's exactly what happened to Morris and all these other megachurch pastors and TV preachers who have these things in their background. They didn't go through deliverance. They never got rid of the lust demons. And they ended up abusing people that go to their churches, when in fact, as a bishop, you're supposed to help people that go to your churches. I got a news flash for you here. A pastor is supposed to help people who come to their church, not sexually molest them. Oh, Brother Mike, that's deep insight. Well, that sounds funny, but actually, is it? Not in our society. If you're troubling with lust demons and you're being attacked and oppressed by them, 602-636-5800. I've seen hundreds of people and dozens of ministers delivered from these horrible spirits and have had them restored and their ministries restored. You need to come for help. You need to come for help now before a scandal like Robert Morris comes looking for you. 602-636-5800. I will see you soon.
The views expressed on this program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership. This program was sponsored by Michael W. Smith.